Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians Cast, episode 577. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Connor Farley. What's up, Connor?
Hello.
What's up, Scott, the blind dyslexic?
Greetings and salutations.
Alrighty, then. All right, Connor, what's the article?
Well, Peter Capaldi was doing an interview for Empire Awards.
Okay.
It would have been last weekend now, and aside from talking about Series 9, he was talking about the possibility of a Doctor Who movie, and he said that he thought it was a good idea, but Moffat said that he didn't think it was a good idea and it would probably never happen. To which I agree with. I think that what Moffat's saying is right, and I can see why Peter would say that it's a good idea, because he's a big fan. So,
I mean, here's the thing. If they do a movie, Moffat feels like they're stepping on his toes as showrunner. So he really doesn't want a movie, so he feels that as showrunner, he has a decision to not make the movie, which may actually go over his head. So Peter Capaldi, of course, would love the idea, because he could probably be the Doctor in the movie anyway. So that would be fabulous.
So why don't they do something like have it, let's say, separate, but with a Doctor theme to it? Because we've seen so many with when they do the video game things, they try to put so much of the video game into the movie it destroys it.
Well, why couldn't they do it that he goes to America? Because nobody really knows him from America. Like he never really had any American companions, right? I mean, so why couldn't he go there where they don't really know who he is and he just travels around?
That's true. Well,
he could travel. He could actually travel to New York present day.
From the U.S.
What's that?
If I remember, I thought Perry was supposed to have been from the U.S.
Oh, okay.
yeah, she was a college student in the US. There was another one, I think. I can't remember.
Well, maybe, he could travel. He could have a companion from New York City. You know,
if they're going to do that, if they're going to go that route, then let's get somebody from the past, like maybe several decades before the series returns. Because we've had our future, we've had our present. It's time to get a one from several years in the past, so we can get some fresh eyes looking at things, opposed to, oh look, we're in the 21st century Earth. Oh boy, and then because we had Victoria and we had Jamie, and with them seeing how the future looked to them. Of course, like what would be considered present day, they just brought a good light to it.
Right. It's possible. I just think that, they need to, if they had Peter Capaldi with a new companion just for the movie series, that could be like a series of sequels that would fit in with in between the series. Like they could have him go off on adventures. And then when he picks up a new companion with the new series, like say Series 10 or 11 or whatever, say that he was traveling for 100 years just on his own.
Clara. Have it in between that timeline.
Yeah. That's true. What do you think, Connor? Are you up to that?
I just don't like the idea of a movie. I can see the appeal for it, but I just think that it doesn't work on the big screen. It works in the sense that, like, with Deep Breath and Day of the Doctor and stuff, like just airing an episode on screen, it works. But I just don't think that a movie would.
See, the movie could be an opportunity for them to revisit past Doctors, like say David Tennant, where before he went to his end, he named a galaxy named Allison and a whole bunch of other stuff. That you could just see David Tennant with a whole new companion, like, holy crap. Yeah. Like, what is this? I didn't even know this. Just like the War Doctor, we know the War Doctor. David Tennant could have had another companion we didn't even know about. which would be fantastic. Or he could have Lady Christina Del Souza as a companion, and we wouldn't even know it because we never even seen it. So that would be like sick, or Matt Smith. Like there was plenty of years that before he retired or whatever that he just traveling around.
And between that time between Amy and Rory, too,
Right.
could fall within that before he got shot on the shores of Arizona.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Lake Silencio. Yeah. Or he could just have Amy and Rory as companions. Like it could be an in-between thing. Have another adventure with Craig. Craig's very popular now with his own TV show. It's the Late Late Show.
They'll probably do what they did in the 60s with Peter Cushing, where they went for a completely different guy, I think.
I don't think that would work this time.
Because you obviously had Hartnell, and at that point, Hartnell was the only person that we associated with playing the Doctor.
Right, but I don't think that would work now.
Yeah.
I think that fans have to recognize a Doctor that they know.
If they're going to go that route, then it's like I've always said, let's just do the remake of the Cushing movies, and then...
See, I don't want to have a separate universe for Doctor.
Yeah.
I want one universe, I think that what they should do is they should do an overall story connected with, the 9th Doctor, 10th, 11th, and 12th, where they have, say, the 9th Doctor, he dropped off Rose. It was like some type of adventure. Hey, what's up, John? How are you?
Hey, pretty good.
John, what we're discussing is the possibilities of a Doctor Who movie that fits into continuity of Doctor Who the series, right? Where we're trying to figure out if it's possible to do a Doctor Who movie, right? My idea is, could we incorporate aspects of the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th and have an overwhelming story that they face this person in each thing, and maybe just do a whole big movie on Omega or something. Like maybe the missing adventures of David Tennant before he regenerated, with the galaxy he named Alice and all that stuff. Maybe he had another companion we didn't know about. Maybe, Omega showed up. Maybe something happened. Maybe Matt Smith had in-between adventures with different things. Peter Capaldi, 9th Doctor. I mean, the 9th Doctor said in one of the episodes that he brought Rose Tyler a bike for her birthday when she was a child. Mm-hmm. So that means at some point in time, like he'll bring her home and do a couple of adventures and then pick her up again. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not always with her. So I think the only way a movie could work is if we have the Doctors that we know rather than an alternate history of Doctor Who with an alternate reality Doctor and everything. I think that's the only way. And I think what better way to do it if you can't have all these Doctors, maybe a David Tennant missing adventure, maybe a Matt Smith missing adventure. Just throw it at fans and see what they say. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I mean, I could see doing a whole trilogy of, Doctor Who feature films and, I mean, definitely you could, you're right, it could be a compendium, it could be like a 5 Doctors, it could be a bunch of, a mission with a bunch of different Doctors, old and new, do John Pertwee digital, and, bring in, all the, you could do all, I mean, you could go anywhere with it. I mean, yeah, that'd be, right. I always thought it would have been cool that, that Tom Baker feature film that he tried to get around, get off the ground with Ian Marter that wrote it. I forget.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Something.
Scratch Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had some cool cover art or something. I don't know. Yeah. But, and then the Peter Cushing feature films, of course, which are, of course, out of continuity. But, I mean, there's so many, ways you could take that feature film. Yeah. There's endless possibilities.
They honestly, like I was saying, what if we see David Tennant as a Doctor in a movie, doesn't say what the hell point in time it is in his timeline, and you see him have a whole new companion, and you're like, holy crap, I didn't even know that.
Of course, like, the audio dramas with Sylvester McCoy, and...
Yeah, he has all the companions that we didn't even know about either.
Yeah. The only thing at the moment that I think there's like really a theatrical appeal is the Time War, because we've never really explored it on screen outside of Day of the Doctor. Obviously, it's been mentioned, but like if it's a huge war and you've got all this history behind just that one war, there's something quite theatrical about it. And the way that they pulled it off in Day of the Doctor, you could, you know, with the scenes with the flying Daleks, you know, pretty much destroying Gallifrey. If you put that on the big screen, that could work. But I think just a normal, everyday Doctor Who episode, just extended out to 2.5 hours, 3 hours, maybe even a bit shorter, I still think it would work.
Well, we do know that Russell T Davies threw his hat into the movie deal. He says, I want to write it. You know, so right there, it's like, oh, Time War, Russell T Davies, holy crap, like, what are you going to do? You know, it's like, that's why I think Moffat's against it, because, you know, Russell T Davies may get the job to do a Doctor Who movie. Might happen. So, you know, I don't know, man. What do you think about Russell T Davies if he did a movie? Would you be okay with that, Connor?
Yeah, because I like it. I think that he could do that well. Yeah, there's not many writers that could write stuff like that. I think for the big screen. I think I think though that they should take a punt on going with someone outside of Doctor Who to get a new interpretation on it, because what Russell will do is he'll just jump back to his kind of style of Doctor Who. So then we'll just basically be going back to 2005 to 2010,
Right.
and I think it wouldn't feel new anymore. It wouldn't feel fresh, which I think you know could hurt the film. In many aspects, particularly with Whovians and hardcore Whovians as well.
But you really think he'll be out of touch if Russell T Davies did a movie? It would totally throw fans off. You really think so?
I just don't think that Russell can write for someone like Capaldi. I just think that I think because Moffat's obviously taken on that role of writing for Capaldi, and hopefully soon someone else does. I just don't think that Russell could kind of do that. I think that he's more of a Eccleston Tennant kind of writer.
So the hell with it. Let him write for Tennant. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
That's another thing that I was going to say. I think that if they did do a film, they would always go for the fan favourite, which is...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
David Tennant, absolutely. And you could have Moffat write a movie that connects with that, like a sequel with Capaldi.
Possibly, yeah.
Do like maybe one or two every, let's say, 2 years. Put, here's this Doctor, and then 2 years down the line, here's this Doctor, and like you said, have them connected in some subtle way. Maybe like an Easter egg style, or just a full-on like, oh, okay, there we go. I see how this one's connected.
You do a Doctor Who movie with David Tennant. I don't care what anybody says. That would be a massive success, without a doubt. That would spawn many sequels, and then they wouldn't even know what to do because they're like, "Crap, more people want David Tennant." You know?
Yeah.
Do that style, then let's do like 2 with Tennant, then 2 with the other Doctors. Like I said, like they do with the audio dramas from Big Finish. Every month they do, or every few months they do a different Doctor with an in-between thing, so that way all the actors that have been played him get their role. And
right. What's up, Mike D?
Hey, good evening, everyone.
All right, we are talking about the effect of a Doctor Who movie that Peter Capaldi wants, Stephen Moffat does not want, and Russell T Davies, being that they're having a rivalry between him and Stephen Moffat, had threw his hand into wanting to be the first to write the script for the movie. So we're trying to figure out, if they were to make a movie, what would fit in today's world, basically. I mean, what would you do, Mikey?
I wouldn't do it. I think it's a mistake.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you say a movie, are you talking about something that's going to be playing at like cinemas or
Yes.
like a TV movie?
Flat
Yeah.
out cinemas.
Something reeks of a mistake if they do that. To me.
That's what I feel as well. Yeah, I just think it's not the kind of route that they need to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like we get into the Star Trek sort of debacle again, where it's kind of like, the show belongs on television, not at the Cineplex,
But
I mean,
they've-
you might have all the hipster little tweenies that want to go see it at the cinema, but I mean,
But we've had Star Trek evolve into films. We've had.
We got a debate going on.
No, we've had Star Trek evolve into the films. We've had, let's say, TV shows that have evolved into films. All right,
Yeah.
some have been some have failed. Lost in Space.
X-Files.
Oh man,
And some have been successful with Star Trek in a sense.
Lost in Space, man. You got to trudge the bottom of that barrel, huh?
I'm sorry. But it is the one movie that beat Titanic. So, hey!
Oh, geez.
Hey, man! Finally, you sunk that shit. No, seriously. It was number one too long, Titanic. Anyway, but anyway, no. Honestly, in some cases, they even said Game of Thrones. They would love to evolve that to a movie. They would love to evolve Walking Dead into a movie. They have talked and played with ideas that maybe, the end of The Walking Dead would be a movie. It's like if James Gandolfini didn't die, there was going to be a Sopranos movie, sequels.
Well,
They got
allegedly,
Entourage. Yeah, they got Entourage. That's going to have his first movie and probably have sequels.
Who the fuck is watching Entourage, by the way, for that to warrant a film? Do you
I
know
really
anyone
don't
watching?
know. I don't watch it. I don't know what. I've never.
I mean,
seen one
maybe
episode.
I'm weird. I watch Mad Men, and that's an excellent show, but I don't know anyone that watches it.
Yeah, I haven't seen Mad Men or Entourage, but I do want to watch it.
70s here shortly.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Scott. What?
I said, if I read this thing right on Yahoo, they said that they were going to go from the 60s to the 70s here shortly. I don't know if it's like a
They did that.
forward type of thing or just an actual.
Yeah, they did that. It's he's speaking of Mad Men. They're in their last half a season, which is 7 episodes. It's an excellent show. It's not like sci-fi. It's not comic book or whatever, but it's just a really well-written drama. And I don't want to go too far off the rails telling you about that, but I mean it's really worth seeing. It's a great, excellent show. One of the best written shows that's on TV.
But not for a movie.
I mean, they could probably get away with doing more of a movie of that than they would. Like, Doctor Who to me is just such a TV icon. It's like a cultural sort of iconic. It's places on television, I guess, if I had to kind of wrap my head around
does
that.
it be set for Star Trek now? I mean,
There's a very domestic feel about Doctor Who, where like with Star Trek, you could go on the big screen, but again,
and you could go back and forth.
I just don't want to be sitting in the cinema
yeah,
in the Doctor Who movie and hearing some little hipsters saying, God, my dad used to watch Doctor Who way, way back in the day when David Tennant was the Doctor. And I'm like, give me a fucking break. I used to watch it when Tom Baker was the Doctor, you little shit. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. They were pretty funny, actually.
did Blake Seven ever get a film?
Damn.
No. Red Dwarf.
Poor Blake Seven.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy became a film.
Red Dwarf shouldn't be a film.
Well, you can
I mean, they did like I don't live in the UK, so I don't know if they actually released that in the cinemas, but they did a movie called Back to Reality for the Red Dwarf series, and they left the laugh track off, and it wasn't filmed in front of a live audience, and it lost a little bit of its.
What?
Turn it down, as Tad.
Oh, the volume is too
No,
high?
I'm talking to my brother. I thought I muted myself and I didn't.
No, you muted me.
I think you muted my team by accident.
It's not me, motherfucker.
Yeah, I thought
So,
I
all right, so Stephen Moffat, it definitely doesn't want it, but Peter Capaldi is for it. I don't know, man. I obviously Stephen Moffat's going to get his way. He's the boss. But then there was a little bit of an.
I want to
someone,
see a. I want to see
yeah.
a Rob Zombie Doctor Who film. I want to see something like hardcore and extreme, fucking straight edge, straight edge.
Man. Straight edge.
I'm trying to imagine that put something on either Rob Zombie doing either Doctor Who or Torchwood. I forget one.
Probably would do Torchwood, I would think. Yeah.
I felt like a Rob Zombie, like give it to like a Beverly Hillbillies or something. You know, like Rob Zombie it up, like the horror Hillbillies sort of thing.
Connor, did you hear the article? There's an interview that they asked Mark Gatiss about becoming a showrunner for Doctor Who.
I never even knew that they interviewed him about that.
We got to do another cast doctor.
Well, then let's hope he doesn't become showrunner.
Well, he actually commented about it, but I didn't get to watch it though. I didn't get to watch it.
What was that you said, Connor, in the past about then all the episodes are going to be like historical?
Historical episodes that are kind of set in modern day. It's like, it's Matt Gatiss' fucked up sort of Doctor Who. He thinks that everything is historical.
It doesn't have to be.
When
That's
has Matt Gatiss not written a historical?
He needs to not do a historical. Totally. Just stop it with that nonsense.
Yeah, it's like, it's such a fucking, he's got so used to it, he can't break that habit.
If you want to teach us something like history, become a freaking professor, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Teach freaking history. Don't put that in Doctor Who. Shit. I mean, you don't have to have that all the time. He's got to be the one person that wants to do that. You notice that? Like, nobody really cares about that, but he wants to do that.
He's such a horror fan as well, Matt Gatiss.
Horror?
Yeah, if you don't know that about him, he's a massive Hammer horror fan.
Oh, that explains it then. I saw like some stuff where he did like a photo shoot, like made up like in some gothic Hammer sort of looking attire. It's some interview I read with him, and I was trying to figure out like what if that was a like 1970s connection to Doctor Who with like Baker's Gothic and Pertwee or what, but that makes sense now. It's more of a Hammer thing.
Why not go down that route with his episodes? Why does he have to be historical? He's writing out of his depth, I think, which is why he's kind of missing on every episode. Not saying that Matt Gatiss is an absolutely awful writer, just saying that if you look at his episodes compared to most others, they're not as well received. Although Robot Sherwood was good.
Yeah. Why don't you just visit Vlad the Impaler? And show like Dracula. Like, why doesn't he just the Doctor just do that?
Well, they did that with State of Decay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the East Base, right? With the
because Horror of Bang Rock was supposed to have been a vampire thing, but they thought they were going to be because the BBC was doing Dracula. They thought,
Also, the BBC was doing Dracula.
Yeah,
your audio kind of dropped out, Scott.
Yeah.
After you said the Dracula.
I said that. Okay, it was me or someone else. I said that was what the plan was for Horror of Fang Rock, because BBC was going to do Dracula, and they thought, well, it'd be a conflict of interest, so that's why they did Horror of Fang Rock, and then years later they did the whole State of Decay thing.
Mm-hmm.
They did that great Dracula adaptation with Louis Jourdan, I think. Actually, really accurate. I don't know if that was
Louis Jourdan.
Louis Jourdan.
Kamal Khan from Octopussy.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of horror and gothic, I mean, like Doctor Who's had its episodes where they've done like Frankenstein with the brain of Morbius and the Mummy. You know, they seem to have done.
The Weird Mars.
Planet of Evil. Planet of Evil is a really good horror story. If you make a horror film, that'd probably work.
So why can't they do it again?
Because there's no showrunner like Philip Hinchcliffe at the moment that could do that. Matt Gatiss could, but he's a historical guy. If he like really kind of used his passion for horror as an advantage and used it to his advantage, I think he could be a great showrunner because he would bring those horror elements back because he's such a fan of like that sort of horror. the same horror that Philip Hinchcliffe liked. But he's just not. He just writes historicals.
So, Mark Gatiss, don't write historicals no more. Show us what you could do, man. Basically. I mean, maybe it's too comfortable for him to write historical.
He's just used such a limited amount of his own ability. Because I'm absolutely sure that have you read any of Mark Gatiss's books, the ones that he wrote for the past adventures?
No.
Like some of his on websites have got 5 stars because they're extremely scary.
Wow.
Because that's because he's probably taken influence from what he saw as a kid.
Right. Well, so is Moffat too. I mean, Moffat's a mixture of everything we've seen. You know, but I'm all for Mark Gatiss doing episodes that are not historical. Let's see what he can do. As far as showrunner goes, I don't know about that. We'll have to come on another cast and really go into that interview and see if he says yes or no. You know, if I was him, I would say, well, how could I say no? Because you know he loves Doctor Who that much. You know, but maybe because he's friends with Moffat, he'll be like dancing around the issue, like, oh, you know, Moffat's here. What are you talking about? You know? So
there's always a big enough dump trunk of cash to change their mind, though.
True. All right. Any final thoughts on anything else, Doctor Who? Connor, any other stories?
Nah.
Yeah, there was the books you were going to talk about, right?
Oh yeah, just the 4 new 12th Doctor books that are coming out at the end of the year. There's Big Bang Generation by Gary Russell, Royal Blood by Uma McCormack, Deep Time by Trevor Baxendale, and The Drostan's Curse by A.L. Kennedy. There's no more information than that. I just came across them, and they haven't actually had an official announcement about them yet, so I suppose that's coming.
So we don't know a synopsis, we don't know the companion, we don't know nothing.
It's the Doctor and Clara. It's
Okay.
Doctor and Clara, but yeah.
Gotcha.
That's all we know.
All right. I think we should do a horror. Well, we could do a horror cast or everything show. Are you guys up for it?
Sure.
All right, guys. That's it for the Real Whovians cast 577. Take care. Bye for now.